Tropical Smoothie Cafe believes you deserve a getaway every day, not just once a year. Summer mocktail smoothies are here for a limited time at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Mocktail hour on the pool deck is just a sip away. Visit one of Tropical Smoothie Cafe's 1,400 locations or order online or through their app. Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. That means it's Shades of Bravo, and I'm here with my friend. And I got to tell you, this is a friend that I see naked more often than I do my husband because I've got his naked calendar here next to me. It's my friend John Hill.
Am I overexposed?
No, expose yourself more. Okay. I love every minute of it.
There's an expiration date on this. You know, I'm getting older in my years and I'm doing it while I still can. And then I'll retire it and then I'll put some clothes on. But it's also the summer, you know, like.
Yeah. I mean, you did a video I saw today from your car shirtless. And I was like, are we in our car shirtless? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I had just hiked and
excuse me.
my breasts were exposed.
Are you still banned from Instagram or have they let you back in?
Unclear. Okay. I mean, I'm not banned. I was shadow banned, which means I'm still able to post and stuff, but people who don't know me, who don't already follow me, can't really find me that easily. And I'm not for a minute there, they were really promoting my reels. They were putting them in people's For You page and all my numbers were skyrocketing. It was really cool. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh no, you said the F slur too many times about the Pope. And so I made fun of the Pope because he said the F slur many times. He did that, not me. And then I got in trouble for it, but it's okay. I got reported for hate speech because I had said that.
I wasn't aware that the Pope was using the F slur or that he knew what that meant or that he spoke English. Any of those things.
He did the Italian version. He said the Italian word for trigger warning, please close your ears, faggotry, and it's fragiacale or whatever it is. So he said that it was translated and then he repeated it.
Okay. So is he trying to say, I love all gay people?
No, he was saying there's too much going on in the Vatican. He said there's an air of faggotness.
Oh my God. What?
And so I did what any enterprising young lady would do. And I put that on my merch. I put the word, and let me just pull it up and I'll pronounce it in the Italian for you.
Okay.
I deleted it. I deleted it because I was shadow banned for it. It's an Italian word for faggotness.
Wow. And he felt there was too much of that going on in the Vatican.
Said there's an air of faggotness in the Vatican. And then the next week he got in trouble, but he said it again. He was like, yeah, there's too much faggotry going on.
And then he had a bunch of comedians come to the Vatican?
And then he had comedians come, Jimmy Fallon, Chris Rock, Stephen Colbert. And since they don't speak Italian, they were doing like weird clowning and like peekaboo. It was so freaking weird. So freaking like I love my Christian upbringing. I love my Christian friends. I am a man of faith, but there is something so messed up about the normalization of insane religions. And like if you mention the Pope, I got in so much trouble from people on Instagram. They were like, I was a fan, but I can't believe you spoke about the Pope. I'm like, he said faggotness. Not I'm just saying he said it.
That's Okay, well, I'm sorry you're shadow banned. I did have your friend on Mariah Smith last week, and she said she didn't really believe you were banned because she could see your stuff. And
I said, friends of mine.
I said, well, that's not what that means. I told her, I said, because you're friends, you could see it. I could see everything. Yeah. I said, but if you're not a friend and you're trying to type in John Arthur Hill, which is your Instagram, it doesn't come up. You got to dig deep. Dig deep.
But I'm hoping I've seen the numbers grow a little bit more, so hopefully it's back. It's the thing you can pose with like basically your balls showing and they don't care. But if you say something bad about the Pope, you get shadow banned. That is so backwards to me.
Right. Well, it's probably like people aren't reporting your balls, but people are reporting that you said something about the Pope. Yeah. I mean, I'm almost looking at them right now on my calendar, but I did cover it up with my LA sticker as I do.
Well, you posted a video and it made it look like the photo was not my hand and it was like a piece of my genitals.
That's what the photo looks like, John.
It's
Have you
I
checked
didn't
out
know
that
that until
photo?
your video, but that's my hand. It's
The
not
first
my
time I saw
body.
that photo, I was like,
No,
there is his wiener.
no, it's not my
But it's your
wiener.
hand. But it does look like that, which is
I
it's
see it now.
it's titillating. Yeah, it's
Okay.
exciting. It's
Okay,
exciting.
good.
Um, okay, so otherwise, other than the shadow banning, how have you been? How's Radio Andy?
Oh, it's good. I'm really into a groove on my show, The John Hill Show, every Tuesday, 8 a.m. live LA time,
Mm-hmm.
11 a.m. Eastern. We're
Yes.
really in the groove. I love it. My guests are popping. My new team is great. My new producer and board up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is just like cooking with gas over there. It's really, really good.
I heard you have a little fight on air with Jeff Lewis about the cute guy that
Oscar.
helps Oscar. I was trying his name was going to come to me in a minute. That Jeff felt like you were trying to steal Oscar from him.
Well, Oscar worked with me first. We've been
Mhm.
doing this for 2 years, and then they put him on Jeff's show.
Mhm.
And it's nothing had changed. Basically, he would always do my show Tuesday, then hop over to Jeff's because he's the next hour after me. But when producers and stuff switched over and when we rebranded the show, they were like, Oscar will be your full-time LA based board op. And Oscar made the decision to focus
Mhm.
just on my show on Tuesdays. Every other day he's with Jeff.
Mhm.
And so that was an insane accusation to bring that into, and then he made it about the accusation then became Oscar's in love with you, and
Mm.
you're leading him on,
Oh.
and that I thought that was very, very funny. And then as most things with Jeff goes, it sort of blends into, are you kidding or are you being serious? And then as I told Oscar on my show earlier this week, I said, with all due respect, I don't feel the need to dangle love in front of a board op to make them a good board op. I feel like that's just a job you're doing, and I don't need to manipulate you into being. I don't actually give a shit who the board op. Like, producer is one thing, and I love Oscar for being the board op, but like, I'm not desperate to
Mhm.
keep manipulate people into being a board op for me.
Yeah, you're not trying to flirt with him to get him to your side.
Also, Oscar and I have been waking up at 5 a.m. and doing Andy Cohen Live at 7 a.m. for 2 years straight. You know what I mean? Like, we know
Yeah.
each other very well. We're dragging ass in there very,
Yeah.
there's you get to know people at 7 in the morning, day in, day out over years of time. So like this is they're very funny to me.
Yeah. Well, I haven't listened. I listened to your show. I listened to Radio 80. I haven't listened to Jeff too much, but I did catch that day because you were on, so I wanted to listen. When you
Thank
were
you for
on, when
listening.
Doug's on, I want to listen to my friends, and I heard that, and I was like, okay, that's funny. And then, and like you said, with everything with Jeff, you're like, is he serious or is he not,
Well,
or is he really mad?
Oscar really is a great person to have on your team. So I think yeah, he's just I take it as Jeff's just having fun. I never take that shit personally. I think he's just always like brainstorming and vamping.
He's always just poke, poke, poke. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny.
No. Okay, good. How are the live shows going? Because you always are having a live show all the time.
Great. About to do Nashville, but it's sold out. And then I'm going to Provincetown in August. And then I have a bunch of shows on the East Coast. And if you live in Philly or St. Louis or Boston or New York, I need you to tell your friends to come to those shows. Something else is happening in addition to the shadow banning and the ball showing and the VPL, where every day I say, hey, St. Louis, Boston, Philly, Provincetown, New York. And I feel like I'm so annoying. And I'll go and do the show. I did a show in Dallas 2 weeks ago. 5 messages this week alone. Hey, have you ever thought about coming to Dallas?
Mm,
Hey, maybe you should come to Austin.
mm.
Hey, maybe Chicago. Like, I
Oh,
don't, it's not anyone else's fault except the algorithm. They're just not,
right.
people
Yeah.
need to sign up for my newsletter,
I know. And
which
can you sign that up when you go to johnhill.com?
johnhill.online. Thanks,
Oh,
Ingrid.
johnhill.online. Ingrid helps you with that.
Ingrid's the best.
I know, lots of people have tried to steal her, but like Oscar, she can't be
Yeah.
stolen.
I will.
Yeah.
I would never try to steal her from you. I'm grateful that she's able to give me 10 minutes every couple of months.
She's so great.
I'll take it.
Tell me what your Philly and New York dates are, and maybe I'll come.
Oh my God, please come to Philly. That one is the first one of this kind of like little mini fall tour. It's September 8th. St.
Okay.
Louis is October 13th.
Hmm.
Chicago is October 18th and 19th.
Hmm.
I love that little theater in Chicago. And then Boston is October 27th. And that's kind of like my birthday show.
Ooh, 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 because you and I have similar birthdays. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the 21st. Are you the 23rd?
23rd.
23rd. Okay.
Yeah.
And New York is what? You do this in New York every month, though.
Well, no, I'm moving to the City Winery.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm moving over there for a minute. Which I'm so excited about. They got a nice where I am now. I've been at the Green Room 42, which is great, but I'm excited to try something else out in New York too.
okay. And do you know what the date of that is? Am I putting you on the spot?
That one's October 6th.
October 6th. Okay, I'm writing down Philly in October, and maybe Ingrid and I'll try to scooch
Philly
over.
September 8th. Philly
I got
September
I
8th.
got September 8th. I just wrote down.
Okay.
It's very easy for me to get to Philly on the train. Very fast. Very fast.
I listen, a lot of people have said they want to come to see the show in Philly. I hope it's packed.
Okay. All right. This will be my personal mission. Um, okay. So, all right, we got Radio Andy, we got your live shows. Now, I did hear you say, and I think it was on Andy's show, you said that your shows are filled with middle-aged ladies. Now, I died laughing because it's very true. I've been to several. I am one.
I
And
love it.
hey, by the way, middle-aged ladies, we have money. We
Yeah,
make
you
shit
do.
happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, it's not a complaint. I'm
Yeah.
very, very happy. When I got to Dallas, I really looked out and I was like, you know what? Because a lot of my peers, I'll go to their shows and it will be a who's who of like 30-year-old New York Magazine,
Sure.
tastemakers, you know?
Okay.
That's just not my audience. It's not, my audience is something different, and I'm living in acceptance. And I'm just kind of kidding, but also in all seriousness, dead ass, I am so grateful for the people who come to my shows. A lot of them are chumps. A lot of them are from Jeff Lewis. A lot of them
Oh,
got to
yeah,
know
yeah,
me
yeah.
from being on that show. And it was startling at the beginning of 2024. I would look out and I was like, oh wow, because I feel like, oh my God, I'm saying some things that normally would seem you wouldn't walk into, like, I don't know, a Sur La Table, or where's a place that you would find my audience? I don't know, that you wouldn't walk into a certain space.
About at dermatologist, plastic
Yeah,
surgeon's office is where
right.
we hang out. Yeah.
And just start, making gay sex jokes. But then I thought, you know what? You know who's laughing the hardest at my shows? All those ladies.
I
And I
know.
think maybe I remind them of the gay friend they had in college.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Okay.
I
Or
actually know
the
that.
gay friend we have now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Something. And
yeah.
also, by the way, I'm 46. I'm not young. I'm not like a young up and coming comedian. I'm up there. So like these are my peers, by the way.
Yes.
It was an adjustment. And then when I got to Dallas, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is my crew. This is who comes out, and they are lit on white wine.
Yes, you give us a Cosmo and a white wine, and we'll listen. You should sell T-shirts. Listen, middle-aged ladies, we like to buy shit. We like to
Yeah.
we like a T-shirt. We make it happen.
There was a lady in Dallas who made a good point. She was like, I just started following you and I had no idea you even had a show till yesterday. And she's like, I mean this nicely, but like, and I put on a great show in Dallas. I did everything and I like killed it. And she was like, you're doing all this hard work for like 100 people. What? And I was like, well, you can't just headline the biggest theater in town. I'm, kind of starting out and building the audience. And she was like, well, you got to she was basically saying, engage these ladies more and let them get the freaking word out in their towns, which is what I'm trying to do. But I always think it's annoying. So that's why we're doing the newsletter.
Okay, well, I love the newsletter idea. We have a newsletter as well.
I know, I just rip you off.
Just rip me off. It's fine. And Ingrid is always like, "Oh my gosh, our open rate is 90%." Like she's always coming up with the stats and the things. And it actually turns out, when you're talking to advertisers and stuff, that's like a push to be, oh, we also have a newsletter, so we can put that ad in the newsletter as well. And we got an open rate of blah blah blah. So all of this is like to get yourself out there. It all helps. Everything helps.
It's been being at Sirius has been nice, but we have never had to do like the grassroots, give us your email, let us do a newsletter, because they just handle anyone who subscribes. They're in charge of it. And
Yeah.
I was at a panel one time and this comedian was saying like, no, like you have to know who your fans are and you have to have their email addresses and phone numbers, because when you go to a new town, you have to say who's in Chicago, who's in St. Louis. And I was like, wow, I guess I need to do that. But we never have had to at Sirius, which is
well, that's right.
lazy.
Because it's just a built-in audience. Well, you guys, if you're in Chicago, Philly, New York, Boston, all these
St.
places,
Louis.
St.
Yeah.
Louis, go see John because the show is good. I've been several times. It's very, very funny. I've told you my favorite song, and I do think you made a video for it, the cowboy song.
It's coming out soon.
Okay, because that's
I
a
know.
number one hit. That's
I
a number
agree.
one
It's
hit.
funny to see what people respond to. Some people, one person every show will say the Chick-fil-A sauce song is their favorite one, but most people hate that one. But some people love it. And
I
the
just
show is always changing. I change it for every city. I'm always thinking of new stuff. For a long time, I was like, oh, I need to lock the show in and memorize every single word. I'm better if I give a new show every single time. It's basically the same, but like, I like to think of new stuff.
well, you're very funny off the cuff.
Thank
You're
you,
you're
Queen.
like naturally funny. So
Thanks.
that's
I
why.
appreciate that. I have been feeling, just to be honest, not very funny lately. I don't know if it's the heat. I
Oh.
don't know if it's my exhaustion level, but do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, I feel that way a lot, and I have to do sometimes 2, 3 shows in a row.
Yeah. How do you get out
Um,
of it?
um, I'm like, "Okay, I gotta sit here and I gotta talk about a TLC show for an hour, and then at, like, 3 hours from now, I gotta talk about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders for 2 hours," just because
Mm,
that's when we're recording and that's when I have to do it, and
girl.
maybe I was up late or maybe, like, my son didn't come home till 1 in the morning and I was wide awake waiting for him to come in or whatever's the case. I'm so tired. I'm so like, generally just bugged. But then you
Yeah.
just gotta kinda, like, read it and make yourself be funny. Like, you just and then you're like, "Okay, in 1
Yeah.
hour, I can lay down."
Yeah. Yeah. I have to do some preparation before I go to the show on the radio in the morning and just say, like, you know what? If you push and you try too hard, you'll end up not being funny at all. So if you
Mhm.
just kind of release, open up, let the Lord take it. Hopefully the
Yeah.
rest will
Yeah,
be.
let the Pope take it.
Let the Pope take it.
Yeah, don't say that F word, though.
No.
Oh, Lord. Well, let's talk about this amazing first episode of Real Housewives of
Okay.
Orange County. It's everybody's been waiting for it. It's been a thing. Of course, we've got the Shannon Bedore DUI. We've got this Alexis Bellino coming back on. We've got this new woman, Katie, who so far so good. And I was very excited to see it. And I will tell you that when they did an air, because I'm not familiar with the OC area. I mean, just like I know about it, but I
Mm,
don't know about it.
I know about
So
it.
I know you know about it. So they did an aerial shot and they
Hmm.
showed this little diamond shaped area in a marina. And
Hmm.
I took a video of my screen and sent it to my friend Kate Casey, who lives there in the
I love
OC.
Kate.
And I said, Kate, what is this little island? And is there only one way in and one way out? And she said, yes, that's called like Lido Island or the Peninsula or something. She said, I'm going there right now. Like my kids
Mm,
have a something there or have a haircut there. I was like, well, I've never really noticed the OC situation. And then she was like, in the Balboa Club, I was like, you keep going further. And so
mhm.
she was really giving me what I needed for this episode to feel that I was in the OC
Geographically.
geographically. I couldn't get
Mhm.
over that little peninsula because here on the East Coast, you would never have that because it would the first hurricane, it's gone.
Right. Well, we've only had one hurricane here, and I've lived here for almost 30 years in LA. So,
I guess you have to worry about tsunamis
and earthquakes.
and earthquake. Well, an earthquake would then
Earthquake
cause a
causes a
tsunami.
tsunami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't live on that little peninsula. It looks scary.
I wouldn't either. I like exactly where I live. The only thing that could happen where I live is that, all these disaster movies about like the La Brea tar pits turning into a volcano, like the film Volcano with Anne Heche, like
Sure.
the show La Brea on CBS a couple years ago. This
Hmm.
is a famous possibility that could happen. I live like 3 blocks from the tar pits, so they could open up and swallow me. But other than that, a tsunami's probably not going to reach me all the way here in Hollywood. I'm
Okay.
nestled an earthquake might really screw me.
How do you feel about your building and its earthquake safety?
This shit has been here since the 20s. This has stood the test of time. It's only four stories. I am on the top, but I think it's lived. It's sturdy. She's made of bricks.
On the top is better because if you're on the bottom, you get crushed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're on the top, you just ride it out and then go down the fire escape. Have y'all heard about this new stuff called mud water? Well, I am here to tell you about it. Today's sponsor is for the caffeine junkies who find themselves in the endless cycle of coffee highs and lows. Hello, that is me. Mud water is a coffee alternative to get your energy fix without your heart doing jazz hands every morning. Mud water is like coffee's chill, yoga loving Zen cousin who went on a spiritual retreat. Imagine being alert and calm at the same time while not having that trouble falling asleep at night. Not only does mud water give you that morning boost you need, but it's also packed with adaptogens, antioxidants, and all those other big fancy health words that make you feel superior to your coffee drinking friends. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get up to 43% off your entire order, free shipping, and a free rechargeable frother with our exclusive link. You're going to head to mudwtr.com/pink shade. You guys, I got some of this mud water and I made it iced, just like I would normally like make the coffee, leave it, pour it over ice. So good. I put in my little bit of my vanilla creamer and one little Splenda packet. Completely delicious. You guys, yum. Every single ingredient in mud water is 100% USDA certified, easy for me to say, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. There's also zero sugar and no sweeteners added. You think about like, does your 3 p.m. cup of coffee make you stay awake at night contemplating all your life choices and the meaning of why you're here? Yeah, let's don't do that anymore. Switching to mud water can help you say goodbye to the sleepless night. It's got all that energy without that late night, what am I doing with my life crisis? So for our limited time, our listeners will get 43% off the entire order, free shipping, and a free rechargeable frother when you use this exclusive link. You're going to go to mudwater.com/pink shade. Grab your starter kit. That's up to 43% off when you order at mudwtr.com/pink shade. And after you purchase, they'll say, hey, where did you hear about us? Make sure you say pink shade.
The OC really is like a different world. I used to
Yeah.
go there a lot in college. I went to college in Southern California out here up in Malibu, but I would go down to the OC a lot because a lot of kids that I knew were from there. And it's very true to what they show on the show. It's a lot of gated communities, a lot of
Mhm.
insurance salesmen, a lot of hair and tan, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm very interested in the OC. Ingrid said that's the best her hair has ever looked when she was in
I'm
the OC.
sure.
She said the
Yeah.
weather was perfect for her hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Southern California is the best place to live. I'm
Well,
convinced.
other than the aforementioned earthquakes and mudslides, and
I know. I know.
yeah, that's not good. Forest fires. There's forest fires as well.
That's true. Wildfires. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so we opened this episode with the clips of last year's reunion when they're all talking to Shannon and telling her, you have a drinking
Mhm.
problem. And she's like, well, you're just saying things like, I need to go to rehab. And we see Gina going, do you think you should just take in some of this advice from people? We get the news clips about her DUI, her crash. Of course, she crashed into someone's home with her dog in the car. Now, first, I want to say you're in recovery. My husband's 10 years in
Mhm.
recovery, so both of us, in different ways, understand this world and a lot of this language and
Yeah.
nuance that can come around someone
Yeah.
getting sober.
Yeah. It's tough to watch. On one hand, you're like, I feel for her.
Mhm,
And you don't want to ever pile on, because the worst thing is when everyone's piling on you and then you get more defensive and then you're like, well, screw all y'all. I'm not doing
mhm,
shit. There's that part of it. And then there's the other part that's like, you want, it's like anyone who's ever gone through anything with someone who has gotten sober or needs to get sober. It's like, it's really frustrating for the people around them, because you think, okay, you're lying to yourself. Do you
yeah,
want me to lie with you? And then you, out of respect, kind of do. And then you think, well, I don't want to be rude. I want to support. I want to say, okay, whatever, you're a grown person, whatever your decisions are. But then you want to say, like, stop it also, because you're lying. There's a lot of what got me in this episode. I don't want to skip ahead, but when Tamara was talking about seeing her still drinking on the
yeah,
sly,
uh-huh.
and
And
that's
trying to hide it, which means you're doing something you shouldn't be doing if you're
people.
trying to sneak.
Yes, right. That is the worst. Just in case you don't have anybody who's ever gotten sober or anything in your life, just the worst part of it is not the time before you get the DUI or you have to go to rehab. the worst part is when it's out in the open, but you can't stop. And that
Mm-hmm.
in your mind that you have to get sober, but you can't do it. And they always say it's like a belly full of booze and a mind full of AA. Like, that you're not supposed to be doing it and you're not having fun getting drunk anymore. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I just have 2 drinks. That's not fun. For someone who loves to drink,
Mm-hmm.
2 drinks is frustrating.
You may
It
as well have zero.
or
If you can't,
10.
if you can't have 15, yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
two drinks is hell. Like, you
Yeah.
might as well just keep drinking and get like totally drunk or not drink
Yeah.
at all. But it's also the most challenging phase because you're not happy. No one around you is happy. And you're mad at yourself deep down and you hate yourself.
Yeah.
It's a rough spot to be in. And I feel for her that she's going through it going through it on camera. It's not even the DUI. It's this exact part of the process where she knows something's up and she's
Yep.
doing damage control and she's telling people what she thinks they need to hear. Like, I'm not really drinking.
Just 2
And
drinks.
she didn't go to treatment or anything, which is like, if you are rich,
Mm-hmm.
go take the 2 months. I'm not rich and I went and I wish I could go back. It's a vacation. All you do is sit around and talk about your feelings.
Yeah.
It's heaven.
Yeah.
You don't have to do shit. You get massage. You get to talk about your feelings. You get to confront people in group. I don't like the
Mm-hmm.
way you said that. Well, you're just a dumb bitch. What do you know about my life? And then you cry and then you hug it out and then you take naps and then you get catering and then you take another nap and then you
Yeah.
watch movies and a month flies by and you're sober. I mean, it's not that easy, but
No, it's not that easy. But yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what
go
you're
to
saying.
treatment. Go. Why? You
Yeah.
live in the OC. It's literally you could shake a dead cat and hit a rehab on every corner in the OC.
Oh my God. Nobody shake a dead cat, but I know it. Yeah. But yeah. And I mean, you and I think could have a 6-hour conversation about this
Yeah.
because it's hard to watch. And it is all of the lying to yourself, lying to your friends, lying to your children, lying to your partner, and then not even knowing what you said that was a lie. Like, I never said that. Well, yeah, you did. And also, too bad for you. It's on camera, you know?
I also don't want to be the sober person who has like opinions on anyone else's drinking, because the honest to God truth is I literally don't care what anyone else does when it comes to their drinking or anything like that. I was
Yeah.
watching this episode, so I'm supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
But like, everyone is so very much on their own journey, and it takes some people 50 years. It takes some people 6 months. Some people get sober when they're 18. Like, for me, it took 15 years to really figure it out. So who knows where she is in her process.
Yeah. And
so,
now it could be totally different. Yeah.
yeah, it's a waste of time to really have too many takes, but we are watching it and it is very familiar to me, is all I'll say. It just is like,
Me too. Me too.
you have to get to know yourself again. That's the hard part about getting sober. You have to start to, you can't escape and you can't numb yourself. So you have to sit with yourself for a long time and get to know your personality again. And that's also what's happening, I think, right now, is she's still, the role she plays in groups is like zany and affected and kind of neurotic and whatever. But sometimes a lot of that is exacerbated by drinking and hungover and that cycle. And so everything is just kind of wonky. I think she needs to kind of like be still and give herself some compassion and then find herself again. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree with all that. All of it. So in this episode, we see Jennifer and Tamara meet up at the gym. This is Jen from last year, Jen. And Emily arrives. And I got to tell you, when you put all these ladies in a scene together, especially all the blondes, I have to like pause. I'm like, who's talking? Everybody, it looks exactly the same now. Everybody looks exactly the same. So Emily, thank God, has brown hair. So she arrives.
I love Emily.
I love her too. I love her. I think she's no bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her. And Jen says, Shannon recently came to my yoga class, and we get, a flash of the two of them talking. And Shannon says she went to a wellness retreat for a month and she's seeing a therapist weekly. So that's when Jen's like, well, you're really putting in the work. I was like, okay. Yeah. So, okay, she's doing something. And so Jen says to Tamara, like, why did you leave the Tres Amigas? And basically Tamara says, I didn't really think that a week after her DUI that we should be doing this show where we're talking about
Mhm.
drinking. And then also in the green room, I could see her sneaking alcohol when she was saying to everybody she was drinking Diet Coke.
Oh,
And, I really think she should have stopped drinking. I didn't want to be a part of this. She could have killed herself. She could have killed the dog. She could have killed that person's house she
boom.
ran into, or somebody that could have been walking their dog on the street. All of those things could have happened.
Yeah, that broke my heart. I had a friend who was really struggling decades ago, 20 years ago. And I remember he had been really embarrassed, and we kind of said, yeah, you need to rein it in. And he was like, I am. And then I remember looking over at a party, and he was so drunk, but sneaking, like
Yeah.
pouring vodka into a solo cup, and then looking around and then gulping it. And it was like, girl, everyone can see you. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's not that is not fun.
It's not fun.
No.
It's not fun. And, my husband has said, at the end of his drinking, and then he has lots of people that call him, now and ask for
Mhm.
advice or help or whatever. And they will all say the same thing. I don't even like drinking. I
Yes,
don't even like
exactly.
it. Like,
It's a
why am
habit.
I'm not, I don't like it. I don't like to drink. So why am like, why can't I stop? Oh, well, because it's a physical addiction, and a mental addiction, but you got to you got to get over the physical to get over the mental. And
Yeah,
Shannon,
it's
every
very
night, if she has to have those 2 drinks, then that's
right.
physical addiction,
It's
you know?
very like cliche. This is like one of those sayings in recovery, but it's true. Like the progression is like drinking is fun, and then
Mhm.
it's fun with some problems, and then it's just problems. It stops being fun.
Yeah.
Stops, it really just is problems. There is, and that's where I feel like she's at right now. But
Yeah.
again, not taking anyone's inventory, just observing what I'm seeing in the show.
So then they say they talk about this Alexis situation with Shannon, and they say Shannon and Alexis are not friends. They've never been friends. In 2018, Jim Bellino sued Tamara, Shannon, and Heather McDonald. They're not saying Heather's name, but she's
Like,
involved as well for
can you remind me?
defamation.
And what did they do that caused that lawsuit? What was the defamation?
Okay. So Heather had a live podcast show,
Ah,
and
okay.
she brought them on as like a special guest. They said disparaging things about Jim Bellino. I have no idea why. Maybe that the news story, Heather brings up news stories, and maybe the news
Mhm.
story was that Alexis and Jim were getting a divorce. What do you
Mm.
think about that? And then the lady said what they thought of Jim. Now, everyone's these two, Tamara and Shannon, are on stage drinking. Woo, we're fun, we're fun.
Yeah.
And they said whatever they thought. And then I can't remember if Heather put it out as an episode or if somebody recorded it from the live show, but that's why they got sued. All 3 of them got sued for a lot of money.
Oh my god. And that makes me kind of scared because
Yeah.
we have opinions on people all the time on Radio Andy, and I don't have the money to get sued.
No, I don't have the
Like
300 or
if
the
you want to
500.
if you want to sue me, you can maybe have $5. And happily I'll give it to you. But like if you think you're getting $300,000, which is what the girls were
Yeah.
saying, Shannon was saying that's how much it cost her. You're never going to get that from me. So apologies. I'd rather go to jail, but I do not have that money.
Yeah. On the record, don't sue John Hill. He doesn't have the money.
Yeah, I mean you can try, but like I will not be hiring a lawyer. I'll go to jail. I'd rather go to jail. Just send
No,
me
I'll
to
have to
jail.
get a public defender.
Yeah,
Um,
defend myself.
so I'd love to see that. Now we see Shannon. So she's in her new rental with her dog. I feel like she's got a new house every month. I think she said she had to move to this new rental because her neighborhood stopped allowing filming or something.
Mm.
Her new place is cute. She doesn't need a big place. She's an empty nester. Sophie goes to Baylor. Adeline goes to Parsons, and Stella goes to USC, but she's doing Europe. Now they chat a little bit here about Diet Coke, and I just wanted to point that out to you that they have a full conversation about Diet Coke, and they drink Diet Coke because that comes in later. So Shannon cries about not being able to visit Stella when she was in Europe, and I don't know if it was because she was in a treatment program or if she was not allowed to travel.
I
They
think
took
it
her
was not.
passport
Yeah, not allowed to travel.
because she had a outstanding felony or
Yeah.
whatever. So her kids are very nice. They say, look, you took accountability for what you did. That's really what matters. Cause she's like, I'm a terrible role model to you girls. I'm really sorry. And she says, I've never broken a bone, had a concussion, been in a car accident, or been arrested. And I did all of that, in one fell swoop. And her daughter's like, look, you're past it. Everything happens for a reason. And now you can see like why you have some people in your life and some people aren't. And they're referring to Tamara. She says she's learning who her true friends are. And then she says a lot of her friends haven't reached out to her since John went public with dating Alexis. Shannon then tells us 10 days after her DUI, John reached out and says he's cutting ties with her completely because she has ruined his family and his reputation because of her public life. And then 6 weeks later, he's dating Alexis Bellino, who was the one who started the ball rolling in this huge lawsuit against her in 2018.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
These are like
we will find out.
The red strings on the map that I'm trying to connect. Like, somehow Alexis's name is on the cease and desist. You'll get to it.
And they were 6 months post-divorce, so we'll find out. So I did like that Shannon's trying to get like a sick burn, and she's like, enjoy my sloppy seconds. And the daughter's like, go girl. Yeah. It's not sloppy seconds. Okay. So also let's touch down on John Jansen. Is he a hot piece of ass and I just don't get it?
The only thing I have ever seen of him was in this episode, and it was the few shots they showed. And it's another one of those. I feel like, again, I don't want to be rude to my following who comes to my shows, but ladies,
the middle-aged ladies, yeah,
y'all have to. It doesn't matter if they're tall. It doesn't matter if they're confident. If they're like loud mouth or acting like an alpha male. No. Stop it. It's a red flag. All of that shit. I think a lot of my lady friends, if he's tall, handsome-ish, and like sort of talks a lot about money, they just think that's husband material, or they just panty dropper. And 9 times out of 10, I don't want to get sued, but no, that's my opinion.
He's not the suing type. You got to be careful what you say about Jim Bellino. He's the suing type.
Right. Okay.
John Jansen has a boat. And that's all I know about him. I don't know what his job has ever been. I know his children didn't get along with Shannon, and I'm sure they think Alexis is just amazing. I don't know why. So, okay, now we go to Heather Dubrow's new house. Now, here's something interesting. So, they sold their house for $55 million. They're talking about someone else in their same area that sold their house for $188 million. Yes. They can't believe it. Those people had a helipad. They have a new house in Beverly Hills. That house was listed in the low 40s millions, but they got it for 16. So they're going to gut it because, my God, what a shithole. It's 16 million. They're going to have to gut it. Now, they still have the penthouse in LA proper. And, okay, let's go through the houses. A Beverly Hills home that they're living in, a penthouse in Los Angeles, and they have a few month rentals at the Balboa Club. That's another thing I asked Kate Casey about. And she was like, okay, so they're renting there for a few months so she can film, obviously, right?
Right.
Don't like it.
So.
Don't like it.
It was like, do you live in Beverly Hills? Where do you live? But then I thought, Heather is an OC. It's all kind of the same down here, but she's truly an OC lady, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. It's interesting. So now did you notice the Diet Coke in this shot? Because I did. And I noticed, like, I'm surprised that they left it in. It wasn't the full logo, but it was enough where I could tell what it was. Yeah. Because earlier in the other scene, we talked about Diet Coke.
Yeah.
So now I'm on to you, Bravo. You got a Diet Coke thing going, and I'm okay with it.
Do you think that's true, or do you think it's like you don't think it's by accident?
No.
Really?
Just
product placement.
It's product placement, and I noticed a lot on on The Valley this season. I don't know if you watched The Valley, but I
watched a little bit.
Really good. Always on Kristen Doty and whatever her in the end of days prepper boyfriend. They had on their bedside table always a bottle of that Prime.
Oh God, see,
always, and I was like, are they always drinking? They moved to a different apartment and there was still a bottle of Prime on the bedside table in a different apartment. And I was like, okay, we get it. I guess I'm just watching too much television.
Yeah, but back in the day, I don't really feel like they were doing a lot of that kind of product placement. They were always saying, yeah, that's interesting. I'm surprised that Prime would pay for that in the shot. I don't necessarily think that's true, but I'm open to it being a possibility. I'm just surprised. I've never heard those negotiations when I was a TV producer. It was never like, okay, Prime's going to pay this amount of money, put one on the a nightstand.
Yeah.
It would always be like, hey guys, Prime's going to throw us a cocktail party at this lounge. It's always more zhuzhy than that. It's never like, oh, put a can in the shot. I really don't think so.
Okay. Well,
but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, I'd like for you to research this because
I will.
I'm very into this. I'm very into when they have a Celsius and they're turning it towards the camera, drinking it.
By the way, I hope it is a product integration because every single time I do my show and it's on camera, I am holding a Celsius or a half day iced tea. If you'd like some, contact me.
I would like for you to get a Celsius ad. I'd like to get a Diet Coke ad.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Okay. So she tells us her twins are in college. Katarina is in high school. Ace is 13, now a teenager. The kids love their school in LA. So the kids go to school in LA. Like they do not live in the OC. They talk about their 3 homes. Okay. And Heather says, well, since we've got the place at the Balboa Bay Club, I'm going to have a luncheon. Okay, bye. It's going to cost a lot of money. That's our shtick. I spend your money and you act like you don't know. So Emily's house, she's also doing a remodel and Gina comes over. Gina now reports that Elizabeth Vargas, who's not the Elizabeth Vargas on TV, but this Elizabeth Vargas, former housewife, saw her brother saw Shannon, and we get a clip of what the brother looks like. I don't know why. Saw Shannon in the market on New Year's Eve, and she had a shopping cart full of booze. Mm-hmm. Now we're reminded of all the shit Shannon talked about Gina's DUI and said, I'll never talk about it again, and then wouldn't let it go, always trying to shame her about it.
I feel bad still for anybody who's had a DUI or anything like that. But this was like, I didn't want to kick Shannon when she's down, but it
wasn't a cute look.
No,
to show how awful she was to Gina.
Messy. That's what you get. Karma is a bitch. Listen to what JoJo Siwa is telling us.
And only that.
Yeah.
But now listen, I did go to college and graduated with a degree in English literature. It was a long time ago. But when Gina says it's not Hammurabi's code, but an eye for an eye.
I was wondering about that.
I was like, what is Hammurabi's code? I thought an eye for an eye was in the Bible. But Hammurabi's code, I went and looked it up. And it's from the ancient days, and it is this code. I mean, did you know? I've never heard of this, but I think I'm obviously stupid.
No, you're not stupid. It was one of those things where I had known that was a phrase, and I didn't think she was wrong, but I got it confused with Schrodinger's cat.
I don't know what that is either.
You know, Schrodinger's cat. It's like the theory of, it's like parallel universes or quantum mechanics. It's like a cat and I'm not going to describe it. It's a philosophical thing, but it's basically like, it's not the same. It's not Hammurabi's code.
Okay. Well, I looked up Hammurabi's code. It's very disturbing. It is
is it eye for an eye?
It's eye for an eye is one of them, but there's lots and lots and lots of things.
DUI for a DUI.
Yes. But it really is like, if you lay down and have relations with your slave, then this. If you are a married man and have relations with a non-married woman, like you're allowed to cut off her ear. Like it's a lot of ear cutting. It's a lot of, if you have a baby with your slave, I mean, it's fascinating. It's fascinating, but eye for an eye is the least offensive of the Hammurabi's code.
But in this, if you really want to break it down, like in terms of, it's not quite this situation's not eye for an eye because she didn't, it just means karma. She should have just been like karma's a bitch by JoJo Siwa. It's really because like she didn't wrong Gina by getting a DUI. They both just got DUIs and one was a bitch about the other one.
Right. And I think, Gina's whole point is, I'm going to take the high road and not rub it in her face. Like she kept telling people my kids were going to get taken from me. So Gina says, I think Shannon should have gone to rehab because she's spiraling. And then here come the first of many jokes, which is she spiraled right into a house. And Emily imagines how Archie felt in the back seat. Also not funny to me because I really was very upset about the dog being in the car.
I know. It's so upsetting.
You guys know I'm always telling you about Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I love it. There's one right down the street. We go constantly. They've got these new summer mocktails, and I really, really love those. I love the mango berry Cosmo. I add some coconut to that. Oh, it's so good. But I want to tell you about some other stuff they have. They have a turkey bacon ranch sandwich that is delicious. For a kid's meal, they have like a turkey cheddar wrap. You can get some baked lays and a little cookie. My favorite on the kids menu is the little limeberry. That's if you just want a little smoothie, you don't want the whole thing. You guys, they have the acai bowls. They also have delicious breakfast. They have a Southwest wrap. They have an all-American breakfast wrap. And for smoothies, they have those green smoothies. So if you're into that, they have that. My son's favorite smoothie is the kiwi quencher. You guys, I'm doing this off the top of my head because we order there so much. Like I said, the little limeberry I like, but I do love these new mocktails. The mocktails are only for a limited time. They have a mojito, and like I said, they have the berry Cosmo. That's my favorite. And again, don't sleep on the breakfast. Get it? Don't sleep on the breakfast. Really, the breakfast wraps are delish as well. So, you guys, go to Tropical Smoothie. Try out all these things. You don't just have to try the mocktails. You don't just have to try the bowls or the wraps. Try everything. Go 3, 4 times a week. Find out what you like. See what your main order always is. We're again going with that berry Cosmo mocktail because it's a limited time. Again, the little limeberry, the kiwi quencher, the acai bowls, the breakfast. You guys, all of it. Tropical Smoothie. You're on Tropic Time now. I don't know about y'all, but I love summer. But you know what I don't love? I don't love this heat and being outside and feeling like I'm being burnt up like a little chili pepper. My skin is dry, it burns easily, and it's awful. I recently got some One Skin SPF products, and they are making my summer so much better. I can go out in the yard, I can water my new flowers, I can do all the things, and I don't have to worry about being burnt to a crisp. I've got the new One Skin SPF for my face and for my body. And then after I get out of the shower, I put on my One Skin topical supplement. I love it so much. It is so wonderful. And I let it get really, really dry. And I do their eye cream as well. And now I also have their body topical lotion. Oh, it's so good, you guys. And on my face, you can use it with other products you like too. I put the One Skin on first because it needs to get right in there and start soaking in because they've got this like, amazing, amazing product that they did in these 12-week clinical studies performed by a third party organization. The OS1 face, which is what I've got, was clinically proven to strengthen the skin barrier, improve skin health markers, and diminish visible signs of aging in 87% of their users. You guys, I'm a lady of a certain age and I need to be in that 87%. So I've been using it every day since they sent it to me. I swear to you, my skin looks way better, way better. And OneSkin was named to Fast Company's list of the world's most innovative companies of 2024, a roster that includes the top companies making a positive impact on the world. So OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. Get started with 15% off code. That code is pink shade at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with the code pink shade. After you purchase, they're going to go, hey, where did you hear about us? And you make sure to support this show and say Pink Shade sent you. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin. Now, Gina tells us about the situation with Travis. So they've got this tiny house. They've got 6 kids into 3 bedrooms, and everything's great with her ex. But Travis's ex has made their life completely miserable. And it's like her, Travis, the thumbs up, her, Travis, the kids and his baggage all in the house. And so she really thinks it's best for them because, she makes a great point. When they moved into that house, the kids were little and now they're big and it's just too many kids in the house, And so she basically feels like they need to try to live apart, him with his kids over here, her with her kids over here. And that could have been some sort of stipulation in his final divorce settlement. It could have been like, you can't be living with that girl. Maybe.
Right.
It's messy.
Messy.
It's messy. And it's too bad because you could tell they really love each other and want to be in a house together and have their kids, So now we get Ryan and Jen. Okay. Now they are saying that her divorce is still not final. Her ex is dragging the feet on the financials. Now remember, her ex in Oklahoma, worked for her family company.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she left that ex to go with Ryan, who's a
Mhm.
well-known philanderer, not a philanthropist, a philanderer.
Hammurabi's
Not
philanderer. And she's
So
behind $30,000 in rent.
$24,000 in rent.
Now,
It's a
that
lot of
seems like a lot.
sounds like if it's 2,000 a month you haven't paid for
2 years.
2 years, 12, no, 2,000 times 12. You haven't paid for 1 year if it's 2,000 a month, but we got to know that wherever they lived was probably
More
4,000,
than that.
10,000 a month.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're behind.
Still, 1 month late is cause for panic for me. I would be
Yeah,
panicked if it was.
panicked.
I'm panicked if it's a day late, you know?
Yeah, because you want that going on your credit report.
And so let me ask you this. So she's also saying that that her job pays $50 a class,
Mhm,
right? Okay, so
mhm,
$50 a class.
mhm. You're doing the math on 50 into 24K?
Well, I'm just wondering. Yeah. So who's supposed to pay that? It scared me. This made my blood turn to ice.
She said that her ex-husband is supposed to be paying the majority of that rent for her and the kids, and that she pays a little bit, and then sometimes she has to ask Ryan for money, and sometimes she have to ask her dad for money. And he says the next logical step is for you guys all just to move in with me and quit thinking of everything negative. Just think it will work out. You will move in with me. Everything will be fine. Well, it's not fine because I think right now he's like under federal investigation.
Is he?
Um,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
For what? For what?
So he was this is again not going to be completely right. It's some sort of, he was a bookie. He was a middleman with a bookie, and there was some baseball player, and he
Shady.
basically like, give me your money. I'll take
Mm-mm.
it to Vegas and double your money. And the baseball player's out $16 million.
Girl. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's later when we see the scenes for, what's coming up on the season, it's
Oh,
mentioned.
this looked crazy. It looks
This,
like it's all about Jen and this guy.
yeah, I think he's bad news.
See, I
So,
think
okay.
he's hot. I like a slime ball.
Okay, you can like a slime ball, but I don't find him hot. I mean, did you
I
see
find him hot,
his
but not the
wardrobe
other guy.
last season with those
Yes,
jackets?
I don't remember the jackets. I remember his athleisure, and I thought that was hot. I like just kind of a douchey
Okay.
slime ball. Yeah,
He
but
wore a
and I know
lot of
that
spray painted jean jackets.
ew. I know that contradicts what I said about ladies liking douches, but it's different. A
Right.
slime ball can usually is short and tan and
Mm.
maybe some growth hormone or a steroid or two and like
Uh-huh.
dyed hair
Uh-huh.
um
A
and
Joe Giudice, if you will.
sex addict
Mhm.
oh, love him. Yeah, all the Jersey husbands. That is attractive to me. Don't want to marry them, but I find that hot. I don't
Okay.
find like a tall white guy who's like a blowhard hot.
A John Jansen, if you will.
No.
Okay. So how do you feel about Eddie Judge? How do you feel about him?
Hot.
I think he's hot too.
Hot husband material, sweet, sexy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So Heather and Emily go out to dinner. And Heather says, I called Shannon and told her about my party, New Year, New Me party. And she doesn't, I don't want anybody to feel left out, but I don't want to be the asshole, but I invited her. Alexis arrives. So Heather says she and Alexis have been friends, and we get a clip, from 2012. And she needs friends right now. Her mother just died. And, basically she's also on the show and nobody likes her. So I'm going to film with her. We see this promise ring that John Jansen got for Alexis. And they tried to fight the feeling when they met, Alexis and John Jansen, but the heart wants what it wants. And
It sure does.
yeah, and Alexis says, Emily, I got to tell you, though, I did hear what you said about me on Tamara's podcast, which was, I can't imagine John Jansen is going to be filming What a Doucher.
Mm.
And Alexis says, where did you get your information about John and Shannon? And Emily goes, what do you mean? I've been filming with these people for 3
Yeah.
years. Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Where did I get my information? And she goes, yeah, but you're only hearing Shannon's side. And she goes, Shannon's been saying John's horrible to her, verbally abusive, never pays for anything. And Alexis says, do you trust a drunk who just got a DUI?
That was mean.
That was mean. And I didn't like it. I didn't care for that. I don't care for that.
It was mean. Yeah.
Talking head Emily says, Alexis feels the need to defend her man. She's been dating him a month, and at this point,
Uh-huh.
I know him better than she does. And yeah, he's a douchebag.
Th-
This is why we
I
like
love
Emily.
Emily. I'll say it again. I love her.
I agree. So she's just like, give him a chance. You'll love him when you get to know him. And of course, they're
Famous.
like,
I've heard so many girls say that shit. That means you deep down know he's rotten.
yes, and you're defending him, but why are you defending him? Because he's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I
she
don't want
said,
anybody to find this podcast years from now when me and John Jensen are best friends. And be like, I don't know him. I've seen one shot of him. He seems douchey. I'm sure he's lovely.
when she says he's my Johnny J, and Heather says the Johnny J rebrand is epic. It's better than when mayonnaise went to aioli. Like I
That
can't.
was funny for her to say that about that, but it is not a good rebrand. It's embarrassing.
So my son is 18. And when he was little and just started playing basketball, somebody, my friend Alyssa, started calling him Johnny G because his name was John Gilbert. She started, go Johnny G, which is cute because he was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And also when he was little, a lot of his friends called him John John.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's 18. He doesn't like to be called John John or Johnny G.
No, he doesn't want an infantile name.
So I don't think it's cute.
He's also not a rapper. You know what I mean? And neither is John Jansen. Neither is Johnny J. I'm pretty sure he's not a rapper.
Mm-mm. So that was funny when they were like, Johnny J. Okay. Okay. So Emily says, so how are you going to feel about seeing Shannon at Heather's party? And she goes, I have no ill will towards her. You just called her a drunk 4 sentences before.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, I want to squash the elephant in the room. Okay, you're stupid. Okay. Shannon goes to see her lawyer, blah, blah, blah. She says with 3 years of probation, she can remove her plea of no contest, have it entered as not guilty, or have it dismissed. She says she's done 9 months of alcohol school.
Alcohol school.
What is alcohol school?
Is that like driving, like a defensive driving?
9 months?
9 months of alcohol. I can't imagine.
I don't know what 9 months of alcohol school is.
Like, wouldn't you rather go to 30 days of inpatient rehab and then get your life back on track real quick than 9 months of something called alcohol school? Because you like, oh, God forbid people think I have an alcohol problem because that's what going to rehab means. Well, what do you freaking think 9 months of alcohol? It's the same thing, but one's better than the other.
9 months of alcohol school. I don't know what that means. Somebody in the OC maybe could tell us. And then we see a clip of her telling Kelly Dodd, I believe regarding Gina, there's no excuse to drink and drive. Never.
Ooh, all this stuff coming back to Hunter. Yeah.
It's a problem being on TV. Okay. Tamara and her daughter, Sophia, go to get a tattoo. Sophia is now 18. She's allowed to film. And Sophia has topics she won't discuss. One of them is her father, and the other one is her sister, Sydney. Just not going to discuss those things. Tattoo shop has good vibes only on the wall, of which I would have turned around and left.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Tamara says both her sons are covered in tattoos.
I thought about you during this. You have a tattoo.
I have this one, and I just got a new one this week.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you a Grateful Dead head? Yes,
I am.
Wow. I think I knew that.
The whole family got matching tattoos.
That's cute. Actually, Andy said that his the only tattoo he's ever considered getting was a teddy bear like that.
Yeah, it's a dancing bear. Yep. So, yeah, I don't mind a tattoo. I don't enjoy a tattooed head to toe. I don't enjoy a neck tattoo.
Right.
I certainly don't enjoy that flashback of Ryan with his inside the mouth tattoo.
Oh, girl, no, get away from me.
I don't, or just Ryan in general. But so anyway, she gets a moon. Tamara gets 111, her angel number. She's praying her daughter Sydney will one day come home to her. She's had parental alienation, blah, blah, blah. So Sophia tells Tamara, I'm not your therapist. So you should keep your thoughts inside voice until you talk to your therapist. Travis and Gina, blah, blah, boring. Okay. Now we meet Gina's friend, Katie, and Gina is happy because Katie is 39. She's not an elder. She's close to her age.
Yeah.
Katie's also a friend of Sutton Strack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the car, again, this is why I'm like, are we trying to meld this show into one? What are we doing?
I took it as just, no, I think they're distinct. I think Beverly Hills, even though there's a little crossover, I don't think it's merging into one.
I think, and I am predicting it here and now, that Heather Dubrow is going to move over to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Wow. Okay.
That's why we're bringing in Sutton. We're making a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're right. All right. I could see it.
Gina is telling Katie about the Shannon Alexis situation as if Katie's been living under a rock and doesn't know.
Right. I was going to say, and she's like, oh, there's this girl named Alexis. I don't know her.
She's like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. There was a couple of bad acting moments on this episode. There were a couple, I think people hearing information that they clearly knew, but acted like they didn't. There was a few times I noticed.
Well, they have to do it for exposition. They have to like let me present
Totally.
this in case the audience doesn't know.
Totally. And they're good at it, but sometimes better than others.
Okay. I agree. Yes. So we arrive at the Balboa Bay Club. Everyone is arriving for Heather's New Year, New Me party. Is this in January? I don't know when it's being filmed, or I don't know. It's fine. The weather looks gorgeous. Katie says she's met Heather Dubrow before, but it's the first time Heather's ever said hello to her.
Believable.
Which is fine. Funny. I'm like, okay, Katie, coming in hot as a new housewife. We like it. We like it. Also, I think Alexis at this party is like, oh, they're letting me come back on this show. I'm going to bring it episode 1 so they'll never kick me off again. I think that's what Alexis is doing at this party. So Gina
and
said,
I think she genuinely hates Shannon. Like, they hate each other, which is why.
But why? Why does she hate Shannon? Because Shannon dated her now boyfriend? I mean, because of Johnny J?
Yes. I think that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I can see that dynamic of like this. She's the ex. I don't listen. I'm not saying it's justified, but she clearly hates
her. So I loved that Gina's kind of bringing it this season too.
I love Gina so much. It took me a minute to warm up to her. I didn't really like see her on the show I kind of like missed her first season or something. And then I met her in person and we became friendly, and I could not think more highly of her. I love her. She's so
I like her
cool.
too. I like her
So
too. And
cool.
I think that there's always a call every season for her to be kicked off. And I'm always like, why? She's literally not bothering anybody.
She seems out of place, I think, for the OC because she sounds East Coast or Midwestern. So she kind of she doesn't talk like an airhead. And it doesn't like quite fit necessarily, but her vibe fits really well with the group. And I think she is a real cool person.
I really was going to take it, and I think I will take a screenshot of one of her scenes with her hair. I was like, that's what I would like my hair to look like.
Oh yeah, like a shabby beachy wave.
Just like a beachy wave, but like kind of long, but not long, like a lady of a certain age, like appropriate. My hair, I think I'd have to put extensions in it, and I can't go there. Okay, Gina says Heather's party always has a lot of work. There's always a lot of stations. There's a lot of instructions. There's things you must do. And before you go to the party, you need to be ready to work. You need to be ready to go to every station, which was hilarious because you have never thought about that, but that's true. Every time she's got a party, it's like, you got to go to the tarot card. You got to go make your wish on the wishing wall. You got to go outside and do the photo booth. And you're like, oh my God, can I just like walk around with my Diet Coke?
Right.
Gina says, it's also weird because Jen's going to be there. I helped her get this place and now she's getting evicted. Right. It's like, hey girl, how's your eviction going? So Emily is talking to Tamra and Gina and says, I had lunch with Shannon, and we get a flash of that where Shannon says, I'll still have 2 drinks. And Emily says, have you ever thought sobriety might be the best thing for you? Emily relays the story to Tamra and Heather, and then Tamra goes, 2 per hour?
Right.
Yikes.
And like, it's different. Like Tamra saying that doesn't strike me as mean because Tamra is someone who has seen it in person and is frustrated. So when someone's around, I saw a little bit of this on Summer House too. Like when you're around it and you're pissed and you're frustrated, that kind of stuff comes out just because you're being honest, because you're frustrated. Like it's mean what Alexis said about Shannon, derogatory about her DUI and called her a drunk and stuff. That's different. She's not even around Shannon. Tamra's someone who's been around it and has seen it and is frustrated.
And has received those calls at 11 o'clock at night, So now we hear Emily and Gina talking about how hard it must be for Shannon because Alexis does look like a Barbie doll, which I think Shannon looks incredible.
Yeah.
Shannon looks incredible. I don't care what Alexis looks like. Shannon looks incredible. And I was really studying it, John, really studying it. What is different? Yes, she's thinner. Yes, maybe she's not so puffy from the drinking. But what is it? Why does she look so good? And it is the teeth. She got new chompers.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
The new chompers will do it every time, man.
Damn, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Take notice. It's the new teeth. It's the
You're
new
right.
teeth.
You're right.
So we meet Katie, and Shannon comes up and is speaking to Emily and Gina and Katie. And Shannon says, look, this DUI was horrible, humiliating, and it really actually helped me fully cut ties with John. Gina's like, well, you look great. Like, you look amazing. I never want anything bad for you. We've been in a bad place in the past, things that you've said to me. And Shannon just immediately, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all those things I've said to you. I see it now in a different light. And Gina, I thought, was going to like fall over.
Yeah. This was a very real moment. And
she wasn't expecting for her to say she's sorry at all.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know how to respond even.
She's like, I don't know what version this is, but I love it. So Gina tells her, we've been friends for 7 years. And even if we don't get along, I am protective of you. And this whole thing with Alexis being here is super awkward for you. So I feel for you. She's like, I don't care. I'm just going to go up to her. So she goes up to her and says, let's go outside to chat, which, kind of, I think was the power move to show Alexis, like, you're new here. You don't get to come up to me. Right.
Yeah.
They moved this table. Cameraman's following. Now the ladies are inside up against the wall. But the funniest part of that was because Emily was trying to get the best position, she just spread her legs to flatten herself against the wall. And they were like, you're giving the boats like a full crotch shot. She's like, I don't care. I got to say, yes, they were all looking. But if I was at that party, John, I would have done the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were having fun with it and they wanted to just peek out there. Yeah. And it was, I think it was really funny to watch them watch.
We've seen this sometimes on the show where like, you'll see all the women like, ooh, what's happening? So I did think it was funny. I did think it was funny too, that Tamara leaned over to like meet Katie and was like, nice to meet you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, I did like Gina's point here as well. This is another star for Gina. Gina says, you know what? I hate that this man worked them both and now they're out there and they've got a scrap.
That's right.
She's like, it's ridiculous. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Thank you.
That was a great point.
I almost clapped. In fact, I did clap. I love that. It's true. Like, this is all because of some
Johnny
asshole.
J.
Yeah.
Johnny J, the rebrand.
And, their discussion about the specifics and your name was on the cease and desist and it's your fault. I'm out $500,000. Like, what I didn't like is that Shannon, it's like someone who's not sober, or even once you get in recovery, you find a little emotional sobriety and you're able to have these confrontations more easily. You're never supposed to have them too early in your recovery because you're still so freaked out. So it's never recommended that you have high intensity conversations too early in the process of getting sober. And I was like, this is too early. This is too early. And she got defensive and personalized it way too quick. And she's like, oh, well, now we're getting angry. And when she said that, then the whole thing went tits up because no one was getting angry.
No one was angry.
She was just personally offended and it got defensive. And she was probably frustrated that her point wasn't really coming across. And she hates Alexis. They hate each other.
Hate each other. So Shannon is trying to nicely start this conversation, right? And she's just like, look, I just got to tell you, I don't barely know you, but I was upset that you were involved in this lawsuit where your husband sued me. I'm a single mom and I went through a lot of I lost $300,000 defending myself. You started the lawsuit when you sent me the cease and desist. I'm going to be in a room with you. We don't have to be friends. Alexis is like, look, it's uncomfortable for both of us, because you're the ex and I'm the new, and show me the proof that my name was on anything. And so Shannon's trying to talk. Alexis is like, oh, this is when Shannon goes, you're angry. She's like, I'm not angry. Alexis says, the root of the problem is that I have a boyfriend and you won't win the battle with him. You won't. She doesn't want him.
Right.
She doesn't want him. So this is where we're getting into this about the cease and desist. And I'd like to know, was Alexis involved in it, or was it purely Jim Bellino? Because Shannon says she got the cease and desist from Alexis. So Alexis like, well, Tamara knows I wasn't involved, and Shannon, you should move on. And Shannon goes, the cease and desist, and that your signature was on it. I'll dig it up. And then Alexis is like, okay, well, anyway, we don't have to rehash something from 3 years ago. We're going to live in the present. And Shannon goes, well, are you going to write me a check for $300,000? because that's what I lost. She says, dig it up. Show me the letter, Shannon. I think the real issue here is that I have your ex-boyfriend. So move on. We're going to move forward in our relationship. And here's what's going to happen. I'm not going to talk to you anymore about this court case. I'm done. And Shannon goes, okay, what? Shannon goes, I'm not done. I'm still out of the money. And she goes, now, here's a practice line that I didn't enjoy, that she definitely practiced with her makeup team before she came over. She says, you'll never get $1 out of me. If you don't like it, there's the door, Shannon Bedore.
I know.
She was waiting so long. She was waiting to say that line. There was not a door in sight, but she still had to say it because she practiced it. Do you agree?
I'm not into it. Yeah, I didn't love it. And I have to say, like, Shannon, I appreciated what she was saying. She was being honest and saying, here's what I don't like. Your name was on the cease and desist, and I'm still hung up on it. It cost me a lot of money. It did me a lot of bad. And fine. Good point. Yeah. That's a point. That's something.
She's not saying anything about John Jansen.
Logical. Right.
Yeah.
And so for Lexus to make it, I just thought it was so bitchy. And there's so many options you could say back to Shannon. You could say, I'm so sorry that happened. It is a legal matter. And I unfortunately can't discuss it.
We can't talk about it. Yeah.
Easy. That's what anybody should ever say about a lawsuit. Even if it's a lie, just say, I know that is I can't fathom how hard that must have been. It's a legal issue. And I would love to work with you on that on the future about how to repair that. But the end of the day, it's like, unfortunately, the courts decided you owed that money and that's how much you paid. It's not on Alexis's tab. Like if I were Alexis's team, I would have coached her to say something like that and just be kind but firm.
Well, what they coached her to say was, here's something that rhymes. Make sure you land this line.
Well, by the way, a real rhyming expert would have said door, and door is not actually a rhyme. It's just a repeat, which is not a clever rhyme.
Correct. So then, she storms off and Shannon says, listen, take John Jansen. I'm glad you took him for me. And Alexa goes, well, I'm glad he left you. So Shannon looks at the camera and goes, perfect. So the ladies scramble to pretend they're not watching. Now, this is where we get this season on. We'll go through it quickly. They go to Big Bear. Every season, Bravo has a contract with Big Bear. Somebody must go.
Well, there's not a whole lot of places to go out here. It's not like we have the Hamptons. Palm Springs is so hot, and it's like, I know everyone loves it. It's kind of boring. Tahoe, they've been doing it. It's like Big Bear is it's also close, and it's cute.
It's close, and it's cute. They go to Sonoma, fun. Wine country. There's now a couple of people in the cast that don't drink, fun for them. Palm Springs, hot. And London. Hey, they go across the pond. Okay. They go to London. Heather and this new girl, Katie, seem to have some sort of beef. Emily cries and says Heather treated her like she was the big girl. And Heather says, no, she never did that. That's interesting that Emily's going to bring that up. Tamara confronts Shannon about her driving a car into a house. And then we see another scene where Shannon says to Tamara, you just need to stop. And Tamara says, what? Uncovering your bullshit? And then Alexis says, there's a lot more. If she wants to go toe to toe, I'm ready. Jen and Ryan get engaged. Tamara asks Ryan, how's it going with the FBI? And everybody's like, what? And then it's $16 million got put in his account and he didn't know where it came from.
Girl.
Ryan tells Jen regarding that, everything is the Lord's plan.
That's what they always say.
I don't think you need to bring God into it.
Don't bring God into it.
Shannon tells Jen, you have about John Jansen, no idea. He's a monster. Then we look like a dinner scene where everybody is in eye masks, like the kind you wear to go to sleep.
Right.
And for some reason, Teddy is ruling over the table.
Oh, yeah. She's been down there a lot. I heard she was like very much in the mix this season.
Teddy is ruling over the table with everyone with the eye mask. And then Gina says, it's like sitting at a fucking table and waiting for a fucking bomb to fucking explode. And Vicky says to the group, this is not the way we treat women. And then we see Shannon saying, we don't stoop to this level. This is not who we are. And Gina goes,
and then Gina says,
this is who we are.
Loved that.
And that was it.
Honest.
I lived it. I got to tell you, I loved it. I think it's going to be a good season. I'm excited about it. I'm going to watch it if it's a bad season or a good season. I mean, well, let's be honest about the situation. And I'm glad that you were here to go on this journey with me.
Me too. I'm so glad I got to live lived this hour of television twice in my life.
I lived it 3 times because I watched it twice.
God. I'm excited too. I love the OC. It was my OG Housewives, and I always love it.
And we see Vicky a lot, which also always makes me happy. It really does.
Too. Love Vicky.
I love Vicky. I love how Vicky was like, I'm never coming back unless they make me a Full Housewife, but I'm gonna be in every scene.
Yeah. She's fully back.
I love Vicky. John, we did talk about it at the beginning, but tell everybody where they can find how to attend your shows and about your XM show and your hot Instagram and all those things.
Well, definitely follow me on Instagram. That's where everything, all the information is there. John Arthur Hill. That's John with an H, ARTHUR Hill. My website is johnhill.online. Shout out Ingrid. And when you're on the Instagram, you can also sign up for the newsletter. It'll tell you all the dates. I just want people to know when I'm in your town, you know? And those towns again are Philadelphia, September 8th, St. Louis, October 3rd, maybe. No, St. Louis, October 13th, Chicago, October 18th. Boston, October 27th. Tickets go on sale hopefully early next week. New York City, October 6th. Oof. It's a mouthful. Come see me live. Fill these houses for me. Fill these
Do you have any last minute thoughts on Gypsy Rose Blanchard's pregnancy?
I'm happy for her.
Okay.
I'm always happy for her. I mean, it's all so crazy.
Anything that's gonna, yeah. I'm not on the Gypsy Rose train. She did help murder her mother, and that was bad. But her mom did deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah, she was a prisoner in her home, and this was her abuser. So it's not like it was good that she died. And she always says, she's like, I didn't. It wasn't great, but also she didn't know anyone else but her mom and the boyfriend, and so I think she lived in a vacuum and got carried away.
Also, she served her time.
She served her time. She knows how to make jail Red Bull. I've seen the recipe. Coffee grounds and Jolly Ranchers.
Oh God. That just got my stomach a little. Yeah. Put that on Bravo as a paid content. Okay, everybody make sure you follow me on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. Make sure you're following everything about John. Sign up for his newsletter. And if you're in any of those towns, I would highly recommend going to one of his shows. He does get a little salty, a little spicy. So just be prepared. Have your Cosmo, live your life.
Yeah, live your life.
That's what I
say.
You'll
love it.
Okay. Bye, John.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.